Hey, time for a bit of a laptop loving today. We've got a Lenovo Thinkpad by Lenovo. This is actually a third generation Lenovo Thinkpad X1 Carbon. We've got a bit of a problem with the keyboard. Ta-da! Some buttons missing, so we've got a brand new one ready to go in. That will go straight in, and this should be relatively easy, except for the fact that you can't access the keyboard from the top. A lot of laptops, including my Dell Precision, you can just take out a bezel and then a few screws and the keyboard comes out. You do that in the Precision series generally to access the top RAM slots. There's 4 RAM slots in the Precision, so 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and it's a simple thing to take it out, but in this laptop it looks like that's not the case. You can't take it out the top at all. It's all through the back, which means we're going to have a bit of a fun time removing everything from this laptop just to replace the keyboard. So first things first, take the back off. We've got what have we got, 7 screws, which I believe, yeah, these ones are captive, so they've got like a little washer on the other side that holds a screw into the hole so they don't get lost. So go around the perimeter, open up the or undo the 7 screws to open up the back, just like that, and oh, not quite, just like that. So I'll get that out of the way. And there we go, there's our interior. So we've got a nice big battery pack here. Looks like it's a bunch of smaller batteries just kind of in a frame or something. So that one has to come out first. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 screws. The center screw is smaller, so don't get that mixed up. It's a little bit shorter than the other 4 screws for the battery. So let's take all these ones out. And the last one over here, and this should just lift out, and then we've got the connector in the middle there, and there's our battery pack. So put that out the way, and you can sort of start to see the keyboard here, and it's looking interesting. There's all these tiny little screws everywhere, so it's going to be quite a number of screws to undo when we actually get to the keyboard level. So the next step, we'll start undoing all the little connectors here around the place. That one there. This one here can unplug. This one too. Some of these are double-sided tape down, so if you carefully peel them up, you can re-adhere them to the new keyboard. This little circuit board here with a USB port and another port. That's not far. Is that mini display port? I'm not sure. That comes out. We can pull this cable out and release that there. So that one, little harness can come out. Then we've got to get rid of this board here, which is the USB and headphone jack. And then this cable can come off and unplug. Get that out the way. I try and group things as I take them out so that they don't get mixed up too much. Now there's a little plate here you got to take off as well. So there's one screw in the bottom left corner, and this little plate comes out. I think it's a strengthening plate for the connector on the side there. And don't forget there's a little what do you call it, SIM card slot, so you've got to take that thing out. So let's see if I can do it with this. It's got a hole. I need something pokey. Maybe a little bit of wire. There we go. You don't want to break that because it's kind of thin plastic. And then, once you've got everything unplugged, I'll just double check I've got everything removed and unplugged. There, the Wi-Fi carefully untwist those. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 silver screws for the motherboard. And the heatsink assembly and everything comes out in one go. Oh, there's one more cable there for the touchpad. Carefully peel that back. Let's get that one out the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and where's the fifth one there? 5. There's our SSD there. Was that M2 or something? M2 SSD? But it looks like the RAM, I guess that's the RAM there. Soldered to the motherboard, so you can't upgrade the RAM in this thing. It's a bit of a bummer. So there's our motherboard. No worries, put that carefully aside. Don't want to damage the brains of the operation. Now, there's all these tiny little screws everywhere. Oh, I'll just peel that there off. So, we're going to have to go through and undo every single one of these little screws. So, I might just kind of time lapse this a bit because there's literally heaps of them. Okay, so it looks like I've got to peel off something here. The new keyboard doesn't have some like a plasticky sort of former. There's all plastic blocks that are stuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have to peel those off without damaging too much stuff. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Get some tape. There we go. Like that. Done. Out the way. Ooh, come on. So that one, I'll leave that one off because there's a screw there. I think I'm going to need to use some new double-sided tape. Alright, now that I've undone all 66 screws, that's correct, 66, I am not joking at all, we can remove the keyboard. So the old keyboard details, you can see there, it's a US keyboard, and there's all your, it's going to focus. And then the new one should be the same. Model MQ684US. And then down the bottom it says the same number there, 10214C53LHA01. Looks like we got a match. Awesome. So that should just kind of drop in. Oh yeah. Now it's just a matter of putting all the screws back in, and then I'll stick these little bits of plastic down and we can start assembling it. And that is 66 screws done. Geez, I don't want to be the person doing that for a living. That's beautiful, look at that. Nice. So we can start putting the rest of the stuff in. So I've got to get some double-sided tape to replace the stuff I peeled off of here because it's all just dead. Really thin stuff. I think I've got some on the shelf. Then we can stick the little bits of plastic around here and then start putting all the circuit boards back in. So there's a little bit of tape to remove there on that cable, and then you can fold this down, stick it down, and then remove that one. And we can start putting it all back together. So we'll put that one in there. That sits down like that. Nice. 5 silver screws. One, two, three, 4, and 5. Nice. I'll stick this bracket in on the side here. There's a little tab that's got a hook into the side there, and it'll just sit in place, kind of lock in there. And then the silver screw there. I'll just make sure all these screws for the screen are nice and tight, because they tend to work loose. So it's good to just give things a little bit of a tweak while you're inside. Okay, so for this one, the screw goes in the top left corner, not in the middle or the bottom. Only put it at the top corner. And this one goes in the bottom right corner. So top left on that side, bottom right on this side. Otherwise you're going to have problems with trying to get things to fit again. Battery. There's some tabs on the battery. You've got to go under the motherboard, and it'll just slot in place. And the 4 longer screws go on the outsides. And the little short one in the middle. Don't get that mixed up, or you'll push through the palm rest. We'll stick the SIM card slot in. And just double check everything's plugged in. It's all looking pretty good, which means this goes in. And there's tabs on the front, so if you hook it in the front and then just drop it down and then screw it in sequence from the front. And that is done. Look at that. Beautiful. We're finished. And we had no leftover parts. No screws. Nothing left over. Awesome. We are finished. So that is how you replace the keyboard on a Lenovo Thinkpad. What was it? 3rd generation X1 Carbon. I hope you found that interesting, or at least informative. And we'll see you next time.